Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Okay, good. So today we're going to be talking about legacy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And it's not just about, like big huge EE accomplishments and things like that.
Right.
It's about those everyday choices
Oh, cool.
that we make, that create kind of a ripple effect out into the world.
I like that, the ripple effect.
Yeah. So of course, somebody like Marie Curie, but also think about
Right.
yeah, the mentor who changed your life, you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
That's really what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And the source material that we're going to be diving into focuses on living with intention and leaving a positive mark on the world, which I think is something that we can all
Definitely.
get behind, right?
Totally.
Okay, so this idea of living with intention, the source material kind of talks about aligning your actions
Yeah.
with your values, and thinking about the long-term consequences of what you do. Yeah. Like kind of planting a seed.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And maybe not seeing the full-grown tree for years to come.
Right.
But knowing that your actions are shaping what that tree is going to become,
That's a good way to think about it.
yeah, it makes it feel a little bit more tangible.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of just kind of floating through life, like we're actually shaping the future with each choice we make.
I love that, shaking the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a really powerful idea.
Yeah.
And it really makes you stop and think about those everyday choices
Exactly.
that we're making.
Yeah. So, okay. So the source asked this question,
Yeah.
and I want to kind of throw it out to you too.
Okay.
What do you value most?
Hmm.
And what gifts do you feel like you have to offer the world?
That's a big question.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's really about figuring out what
Yeah.
matters to you,
Yeah.
and then using your actions to make it a reality, bring those values to life.
It's not just about talking the talk.
Totally.
It's about walking the walk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Putting those values into action.
Yeah, and it's not about, I don't think, you know, following someone else's definition of success.
Right.
Like, what does success mean to you?
Exactly, yeah. Finding it for yourself.
And living a life that kind of reflects that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's where I think this idea of purpose comes in. The source distinguishes between purpose and just achieving things.
Okay.
Like checking things off your list.
I see.
So what do you think is the difference between purpose and just achievements?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, the way I see it is achievements are kind of like external markers of success.
Okay.
They're things that you can point to and say, look, I did that.
Right.
But purpose is something deeper.
Right.
It's about why you're doing those things, what's driving you,
I see.
what impact you want to have on the world.
Okay, so it's like the why behind the what.
Why-
Yeah. So the source describes a purposeful person as someone who is focused on creating value,
Yeah.
both for themselves and for others, and thinking about the long-term impact of their actions.
So it's not just about climbing the ladder or,
Right.
getting that next promotion.
It's about making a contribution that goes beyond your own immediate gratification.
Totally.
And I think that's a really important distinction.
It is. It is. And, it leads us to this concept of legacy, which is, what we leave behind,
Yeah.
tangible and intangible.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts on this idea of legacy?
Well, I think legacy is often seen as something that's reserved for, really famous people.
Right, right.
Like, the Einsteins and the Gandhis of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I find really interesting about the source is that it emphasizes how even small, everyday choices can contribute to something much bigger.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's not just about these grand gestures or these huge accomplishments.
It's about the accumulation of all these little things that we do
I like that.
over time
Yeah.
that ultimately create a lasting impact.
So it's empowering in a way.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, like it means that we all have the potential to leave a legacy,
Yeah,
not just the elite few.
exactly. And I think that's a really empowering message.
It is. Okay, so the source outlines 3 ways to ensure that your life matters long after you're gone.
Ooh. Okay, let's hear it.
And the first one is all about investing in people.
Hmm.
So think about mentorship,
Yeah.
relationships,
Right.
simply uplifting those around you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel like that creates a lasting impact?
Well, it's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
When we support and encourage others, we're not just helping them individually.
Right.
We're creating a ripple effect that spreads outwards,
I see.
impacting the entire community.
Yeah, it's like we're all connected.
Yeah, exactly.
All interconnected.
We're all interconnected.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about the second way to create a lasting impact?
Okay, well, the second way the source talks about is contributing to causes that are greater than ourselves.
Okay.
So whether you're passionate about social justice, scientific discovery, protecting the environment,
Right.
it's about being part of something bigger than yourself and giving your life a sense of purpose that transcends your individual existence.
So connecting with something that really resonates with your values.
Exactly. And using your skills and energy to actually make a difference.
That's a good point.
In the world.
Yeah. And, you think about all the individuals who've dedicated their lives to, fighting for civil rights,
Right.
finding cures for diseases. Their work is still benefiting us today.
It's amazing how their impact continues to ripple outwards.
Yeah. Long after they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got investing in people. We've got contributing to causes greater than ourselves.
Right.
What's the third way to make our lives matter in the long run?
Okay, this one is really fascinating.
Okay. I'm excited.
It's the power of ideas. Ideas have this incredible ability to outlive individuals.
That's true.
Think about revolutionary thinkers
Yeah.
like Martin Luther King Jr. or Albert Einstein.
Right.
Their ideas continue to shape our world.
That's crazy.
Even today.
How a single idea can spark a movement
It's powerful.
or change the course of history.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And that's something we can all contribute to, right?
Absolutely.
We all have ideas, perspectives, ways of seeing the world
Yeah.
that can inspire others.
And I think it's important to note that it doesn't have to be some grand world-changing idea.
Right, right.
It can be something small, something that inspires your family,
Oh,
your friends, your community.
yeah. And it's not even always about coming up with a new idea.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about sharing the knowledge that you have.
Exactly. Sharing what you've learned,
Yeah.
teaching others, passing on that wisdom.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm feeling really inspired.
Do-
But before we get too carried away, there's another really important point that the source emphasizes.
Okay, what's that?
And that is, it's not just about the impact we make. It's also about the meaning behind those actions.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So legacy isn't just about chasing wealth or status.
Right.
It's about making a difference that truly matters.
Yeah, it's about the why behind the what.
Exactly.
Yeah, I talked about that earlier.
Yeah. So the source asks this really powerful question.
Okay.
How can we contribute meaningfully to the world around us?
That's a great question.
Right. It's like it really challenges us to think about the deeper purpose behind our actions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the source gives some really great examples
Okay.
of how we can make a real difference.
I'm all ears.
What's the first one they highlight?
Well, the first one they talk about is problem solving.
Huh.
And this could be anything from developing new technologies to address climate change to finding ways to improve education in underserved communities.
Interesting.
It's really about identifying a challenge
Right.
and dedicating yourself to finding a solution.
Like being a detective for good.
I love that. A detective for good.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. Finding those problems that need to be solved.
Yeah.
And then using your unique skills and talents
Totally.
to make a difference.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be on a global scale either.
That's true.
It could be something as simple as organizing a neighborhood cleanup.
Right.
Or starting a mentorship program for at-risk youth.
Okay, so it's about recognizing a need
Yeah.
and taking action.
Exactly.
No matter how big or small.
No matter the scale.
Yeah. So what about the second way to contribute meaningfully?
Okay, well, the second way is all about sharing knowledge.
Ooh.
So teaching, mentoring, writing. It's about empowering others with information and insights that can make a difference in their lives.
This one really speaks to me.
Yeah.
I think about the teachers that inspired me. The authors whose books just opened up new worlds for me.
Right.
Even just friends who have shared their wisdom and experiences.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, it's such a powerful way to leave a positive impact.
Absolutely.
So can you think of any examples of people who've done this really well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about someone like Dr. Jane Goodall,
Oh, yeah.
who dedicated her life to studying chimpanzees
Right.
and sharing her knowledge with the world.
Yeah.
Her work not only advanced our understanding of these amazing creatures,
Mm-hmm.
but it also inspired a whole generation of conservationists.
So it's like that knowledge sharing
Yeah,
creates this ripple effect
exactly.
that goes way beyond just the individual.
Way beyond.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got problem solving.
Uh-huh.
We've got knowledge sharing.
Yep.
What's the third way to contribute meaningfully?
Okay, this one is all about being a role model.
Okay.
It's about living your life with integrity,
Hmm.
kindness, compassion, and inspiring others to do the same.
You know what's interesting about this one?
What's that?
It's something that we can all do
Right.
every single day,
Every single day.
no matter our circumstances.
Exactly. It doesn't require any special skills or resources.
We don't need a platform.
Right?
We don't need a spotlight.
It's about who you are
Yeah.
at your core.
Yeah. So what are some ways that we can be role models in our everyday lives?
Well, I think it starts with those small everyday choices. Like choosing to be honest, even when it's difficult,
Right.
standing up for what you believe in,
Yeah.
even when you're the only one, or simply treating everyone with kindness and respect,
Yeah.
regardless of their background or beliefs.
It's like that quote,
Yeah,
be the change you want to see in the world
exactly.
by living our values
Yeah.
and setting a positive example.
We inspire others to do the same.
Yeah. Okay. So we connect this back to the idea of legacy.
Mm.
It's like our actions, big and small, are shaping the world
Right.
that we're leaving behind.
For future generations.
I like that.
It's a powerful thought, isn't it?
It is. It is.
That we have that ability to shape the future.
Yeah. And it's not something that just happens at the end of our lives.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process
Exactly.
Or-
You're creating your legacy every single day
through the choices that we make
through your choices, your actions.
and the actions that we take.
It's like planting seeds throughout your life.
Mm,
Some might blossom quickly.
Right.
Others might take years to bear fruit.
I like that.
But each one contributes to the overall garden
Yeah.
of your legacy.
It's a beautiful way to think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Each act of kindness,
Yeah.
each moment of courage,
Mm.
each time we choose to share our knowledge or our talents.
All part of this larger tapestry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's something I've been pondering.
Okay.
What about those times when our efforts don't seem to be making a difference? What if we feel like our contributions are going unnoticed,
Yeah.
unappreciated?
That's a really valid question.
Right.
And it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
You know, we put so much effort into something
Right.
and we don't see the results that we were hoping for.
Yeah.
It can be really discouraging.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's important to remember that sometimes the impact of our actions is invisible to us.
Okay.
We might never know the full extent
Right.
of the ripple effect that we create.
You know, it makes me think about all the people
Yeah.
who work behind the scenes,
Mm.
you know, quietly making a difference
Right.
without seeking any recognition or praise.
Without any fanfare.
Yeah.
Just doing what they believe in.
Yeah, and their contributions might not make headlines,
Right.
but they're no less valuable.
No less important.
So it's not about seeking that validation
Yeah.
or recognition.
It's about the intrinsic satisfaction of knowing that you're living a life that's aligned with your values.
And making a positive contribution to the world.
Yeah, even in small ways.
Even in those seemingly small ways.
Yeah.
Because those small ways can add up to something really big
Yeah, they really can.
over time.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about this large-scale impact,
Yeah.
but I think it's also important to acknowledge the personal dimension of legacy. It's not just about what we leave behind for the world,
Right.
but also about the impact that we have on our loved ones,
Yeah.
our families, our community.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's a really important aspect of legacy that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to focus on the big picture,
Right.
the grand achievements.
Yeah.
But the reality is that our legacy is also shaped by those intimate personal connections that we have with the people around us.
Yeah, the everyday moments.
Exactly.
The little interactions,
The small acts of
the
kindness.
stories that we share.
Yeah, all of that contributes to our personal legacy. Yeah, and it's something that I think is really worth reflecting on.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, it's those relationships
Yeah.
that really matter.
They're the heart of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, we were talking about leaving a legacy on the world, but what about, like, the people we're closest to, you know?
Yeah, like our families and friends. And
Right. Exactly. Like,
how do we leave a legacy on them in a way that kind of lasts?
yeah, I think it gets at, like, what legacy really means, you know? It's not always about like, changing the world in some big, huge way.
Right.
It's also the small stuff, the everyday moments you share with people.
I'm thinking about like the stories we tell each other,
Right.
and the traditions and, the values we try to live by in our relationships.
Yeah. And, the source material actually talked about how important stories are.
Oh,
For this exact reason. Like, they really bring legacies to life, Think about, like, a biography you've read. Or even just, like, family stories you've heard.
Yeah.
It's those little details that you remember.
Yeah, it's like that saying, people will forget what you said and what you did.
Right.
But they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah. That's so true. It's like the feeling that really sticks with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where mentorship is so powerful, too.
Okay.
It's not just about giving someone advice. It's about sharing your experiences.
Right.
The good and the bad, your struggles and your triumphs.
Showing them that, like, success is possible even when things are hard.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a mentor early in my career who told me about how she overcame this, like, huge obstacle. And it gave me so much hope at the time.
Yeah. It makes it real,
Yeah. Not just some...
like fairy tale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess mentorship is kind of like passing the torch in a way,
It is. It's like you're empowering the next generation.
To go out and make their own mark on the world.
So it's not just about what we do. It's about, like, inspiring others.
Totally.
Okay. But I do have a question.
Okay.
We've been talking about people who make these, like, big impacts.
Yeah.
What about those of us who are just, living normal lives?
Yeah, good question.
Does our life still matter?
Of course it does. Every single life has value, and every even small action we take can make a difference.
Okay.
It's not about being famous or in the history books or anything like that.
Right.
It's about, living your life with intention, making good choices, and trying to do some good in the world.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Like, think of all the parents raising great kids.
Yeah.
Teachers who help their students learn and grow. Volunteers helping those in need.
Okay.
Those are all legacies, and they matter.
Yeah, it's like those, those Russian nesting doll.
Oh, yeah.
Legacies inside legacies.
Exactly.
And they all kind of impact each other.
And it's not about taking, it's about giving back. Not about what can I get, but what can I give.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can look like a lot of different things.
Exactly.
It could be our talents, our time, our...
just being kind.
Yeah, just trying to be kind.
It all adds up.
And who knows, maybe those little acts of kindness will turn into something bigger later on.
Maybe, but even if they don't, it's still good to just try to do good.
Yeah.
Just try to be a good person.
I like that.
That's a legacy in itself.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, well, we're coming up on the end of our deep dive here.
Yeah.
I hope this got everyone thinking about their own legacy,
I hope so, too.
what they want to leave behind.
And how they want to live their lives.
Yeah.
Each choice we make matters.
Yeah, so what's one thing you'd want to leave our listeners with today?
I'd say don't be afraid to think big, but also don't underestimate the power of those small, everyday actions.
Yeah.
They all contribute to the kind of person you are.
Right.
And the mark you leave on the world.
Okay, good stuff.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for today's deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening.